Hi guys, I've looked into two things. This will be an extra upload on a Sunday. This won't happen all the time, but I've got a couple I want to talk about. After this one, I've got a short one after the end of this, so don't miss it. It's about another one y'all have asked me to look at, and we're going to start with the first one. The name is Nora Quarren. I hope I pronounced her name right. Her age was 15. Location was in Malaysia. August 3rd of 2019. The moon was a waxing crescent, and she did have a disability. The mother, on the night that her daughter went missing, they were staying in a chalet. They had just came in from air travel and were tired and were vacationing, from what I understand. And they were tired, so they'd all went to sleep. They said that they put Nora to sleep in this house, I guess, that they had rented, and they said that she was only dressed in her underwear because of the heat of the area they was staying in to keep her cool. Her mother says that she wakes up early at night to where she hears chattering. Sounds like Indians chattering, or chattering that you can't understand. I've heard that before, and I know a lot of you do that investigate this or watch videos. Chattering doesn't happen all the time, but I do know a place that chattering is happening that I'd like to go visit, and may end up doing that with a friend of mine if we can work everything out. But anyway, she started hearing chattering. A few hours later, at approximately 7 o'clock in the morning, Mayeb's French husband, Sebastian, which is the mother's husband, went to check on their three children: Nora, which was 15, Enos, which was 12, and Maurice, 8. Nora was nowhere to be found. A window in the chalet was opened, and they noticed that to be peculiar because they're saying that they actually locked and closed that window that night. We'll get more into that here in a second. They said that the likelihood that Nora would have wandered off was very remote and very rare. She had a condition, which was a brain disorder, that affects her brain development. She had trouble walking on her own and required a lot of assisted walking, so she would fall a lot. She wasn't very well balanced. So they said that she would never travel very far by herself. She had trouble walking, staying balanced, and things like that. They searched the chalet over and over. Then they reported her missing. Okay, 9 days after Nora had been missing, her body was found by a group of volunteers in the jungle. She was a couple of miles from the resort, okay? There was no way, they're saying, she could have traveled this far from the resort. She would have had to have climbed over a fence. She would have had to have went through very thick brush, very thick foliage, hills, rocks. This was somewhere that Nora would not have been able to walk. Remember, she had trouble walking just normally in the house. She required a lot of assisted help. She was found 2 miles away through all this brush and undergrowth and all that. The post-mortem report said that Nora had died to gastrointestinal bleeding, and this is what the doctor says, from hunger and stress over a prolonged period. Now, there's a doctor that also intervened in this that made a statement that said that that does happen. It's very, very rare that that would happen. Most generally, that will not happen. But he says what can cause that and what causes that most of the time is being squeezed with a large amount of force around the stomach area, causing internal bleeding. There were no criminal proceedings added. The police did not file charges or anything. It was treated as a missing person case. Sebastian, the father, said the dog that they brought out to look for her acted like it was exhausted and did not want to trail her. He wouldn't even track her, and that's what caught my attention. The dog does not want to track. When the dogs don't want to track, that is a good sign that the dog is fearful or he knows what's out there. It happens a lot. If you watch a lot of the serious investigators and the trackers, they will tell you when a dog doesn't track, you know that there's trouble going on. The family showed authorities the open window and insisted they had closed it that night. Police stated it was open wide enough for an adult to climb through the window. The window was open largely. The resort owner, Helen Todd, has ran the resort for more than 30 years with no burglaries or intruders or any trouble at the place. This has happened for 30 years. Nora would have had to climb over a fence, but she was not physically able to do that. The underbrush on the other side was very thick and impassable for a person of good health. Nora could not walk unassisted. Nora's gait was very fragile. They did find her, and it's sad how they found her. And hold on one second. Whenever they found her, it's kind of disturbing. They found her lying face down on a rock. She was close to a stream with her hands and feet immersed in the water. Nora's unclothed body was discovered by civilian volunteer Chung Yu Fat. He had joined in the search. There was water present in the discovery of her body. She was undressed and her clothes were missing, which is happens a lot in a lot of these cases. Why? I'm not sure. If I was, it would just be a guess and an opinion why a lot of these people's clothes, are missing. I don't know if these creatures are trying to imitate us to a point to where they're taking our clothes off and trying to wear them. Trying to mimic what we do, since we know they do mimic our noises, they mimic our stuff, and, the voices that we do and things like that. If they're maybe trying to mimic the way we dress and they're taking our items of clothing and stuff off of us and they're trying them on, and I'm not sure. It's just a thought. Let me know what y'all think. But anyways, the guy that found her did not approach the body. He was in fear that it was a crime scene and did not want to disturb anything. She was found on August 13th at 2 o'clock. The report showed that Nora had died 3 days before being found. A pathologist agreed that although Nora had not been physically attacked or raped, they could not rule out lesser forms of abuse. Pressure applied around the stomach and a great amount of force. Scratches on Nora's torso, legs, and feet were consistent with her moving through the woods of being carried, not walking, as her feet did not have scratches, bruising, dirt, or anything on them. She wasn't able to walk anyway, so we know something was carrying her. This is sad that this little girl went through this. What was running through her mind, God only knows. But Nora's clothes were never found. She was only wearing underwear unclothed because it was hot that night, her mom stated. The police contacted shamans in the area because they suspected that a beast of the woods had came and took her. Police know something here. Kind of what we've always thought all along. The police know more than what they're saying. The father says she could have no way made it that far in her condition. She needed a lot of assisted help. She did not have scratches on her body with conversing in the heavy terrain, which would consist of her walking or even falling in the jungle. They were scratches that were from front to back, as she had been carried through the brush at a high rate of speed. Her clothes were never found, and to this day the case has been filed as not now as a missing persons, but as a that's funny. They changed the ruling in the court from a missing person to a open case, just regular open case. So that's the one that y'all had asked me to look into. I want to go into the other one that y'all have asked me to look at, so it's coming up right after this. Alright, the other one y'all had asked me to look into was a Landon Waldy Raber, Buckingham County, Virginia. Uh, Farmville's the name of the community. July 9th, 2022. He was found Tuesday morning, July 10th, 2022. The moon was a waxing gibbous. It was a drowning in a pond, is what it was disclosed as. He had disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, and he was also nonverbal. His age was 6. He had just learned to walk 1 year ago. Landon went missing on Sunday at about 8 o'clock p.m. Landon was found deceased in a pond on the same land that he went missing from. His family owns a large pond. He went missing. It was an overnight missing. He was found at approximately 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Circumstances surrounding the boy's disappearance have yet to be disclosed. A lot of newspapers around the area were frustrated that a lot of information was not released on his disappearance, how he went missing, and the condition of his body. The only thing that they know is that he was found in a pond, deceased, and pretty much that's all that was released. The search did include the Buckingham Volunteer Fire Department, Virginia Department of Emergency Management, the Virginia State Police, and police helicopter. It's being called a developing story. There was also a delay in releasing the cause of death, which aggravated a lot of the newspapers in the area. And after the body was discovered, no information was released. Multiple inlets have tried to get people to make comment on, and the police department, as they will not comment on it, and said it is an open case at this time, and they're unable to comment on it. So that's where that case is at, and I expect that case is probably going to stay open for a long time to keep people from filing FOIAs on it and stuff. So they've wrapped this one up. It's zipped up tight, and that's probably all you're going to know. They do have a ice cream trailer in Farmville. If y'all would like to support the family, I'd encourage you to go out there if you're close, buy an ice cream, help support the family, for the loss of their child. Thank you for tuning in today, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. I hope you enjoyed this extra update that I'm putting out today. I won't do these a lot. There will be a post every Sunday. YouTube is still doing their thing. I'm getting a lot of emails right now, people saying they're getting unsubscribed, they're not getting notified. So in order to help you guys to track to see if you're being unsubscribed and not notified, check every Sunday on my channel, and there will be an upload every Sunday, and that way you can check to make sure you're still subscribed and everything. I appreciate all the likes you give me. That raises my algorithm, so reach down there and hit that like button for me. Just a click, and that puts us out there even more. And we'll see you on the next one. Keep your head on a swivel. God bless.